Can really pluck him out of the sky outside of the other Echo. This will be a coalescence right into Crimzo's Amp Matrix. You get nothing with that. It's just getting chased down as Florida. First two fights go way in their favor.
Can I ask a question, Matt? Why the Mayhem keeps taking the fight to them just as they're trying to set up, despite the fact the Outlaws have the speed of Lucio? It's not getting him into the position that they want to be in. Here's a coalescence. The Outlaws just get stuffed into that corner. And BQB gets the Death Blossom.
Yes, this has not worked so far.
Point the touch. Piggy making that switch. Has the self-destruct if needed. But this is a very dead Baptiste if Crimzo is not careful.
Yeah, and let Piggy take the point. I mean, he gets a self-destruct kill on the way out, but you push on forward, kill everybody else, you go back and deal with Steva, you win this first point if you're the Florida Mayhem. But the issue is not able to get back and pick up some of these kills. It's a little bit harder. You see Dreamer up on the high ground putting down some good damage with the Orisa. The Outlaws control the point. It'll be the Mayhem. Looked like they were going to actually sit up a little bit, but BQB was in deep. They have to use a Coalescence to save him.
Yeah, Slime's back though, so they might be able to get BQB, well, they were hoping to get BQB in a position where it could actually be effective, but instead he just kept shooting into that defense matrix. Dante duplicates a D.Va. There's going to be a duplicated Reaper here. Dante arguably has the better of it, being able to shut down that duplication and have an impact of his own. The Dreamer's barrier goes down, and look at how the Mayhem try and take advantage. Sound Barrier Coalescence get overlaid here. In fact, a lot of ultimates just get used, but that's the chaotic nature of the Mayhem, and they can see victory a mile off.
And that's why you play the Winston D.Va with this Reaper type of rush comp. When you're playing the Reaper rush to play it with Orisa Sigma at the start, you know, all those heroes are just kind of counterintuitive to each other, right? Like Orisa Sigma want to play more stationary. You have a Lucio Reaper in the mix who want to get aggressive and push players down.
I just don't understand how Happy's supposed to get into the backline safely when his tanks play statically. It's a tough job. He gets forced away. Fire Grenade is deployed. OG does get slept, but Gargoyle's still there to follow up. And now they've returned to the point. But Piggy and Dante have been doing decent work in their absence. No one's capped yet, but the numbers favor the Mayhem.
And Dante actually takes out Gangnam Jin when he's using the Coalescence, so huge pick off there. Yaki not able to finish off Juby. As a minefield comes in from Dreamer, you should be able to turn this if you're the Outlaws.
Now the Reaper's there though. See, that's the problem. Dreamer can escape, but when he actually wants to fight, he has to run into a Reaper, Matt.
But they weren't even really close at that point. Like you secure the point. Dante's going to use a duplicate here. They're going for it. Going, and yeah, Happy's coming back. I was going to say, the Outlaws should have the advantage.
Well, OG gets his shield. OG's shield gets taken down by a free self-destruct, right? So you can't really... Another one! Shutting down the impact of the Echo instead of just destroying her outright. Yaki, bit of defense matrix used there. He knows he gets the-mech by that. He didn't have boosters, but he has a self-destruct of his own. Gets the mech back. And we're back at reset, essentially, here. Dante finally taken down, and over the edge, I think the Outlaws know they just need to end this fight. The Mayhem are back in control.
Yeah, what the Mayhem are trying to do is just rush to the point, or when they have the sound barrier, just run down the Ash. Or what they can do is, when the fight happens on the point, this will be a pretty aggressive push with BQB's Death Blossom, just trying to get some players who are lurking around, not going all the way back to the spawn. But they play in that kind of little...
Death Blossom would have been an issue if not for the defense matrix and the good disengage from Florida now. Dante will be able to duplicate in a moment, and Happy has to come back on the Soldier 76. This could be tough for the Outlaws. Self-destructs go over the top and they catch Piggy as he was out of his mech, but Piggy gets one better. He finds both supports with one self-destruct. That's huge, but the Outlaws are still understaffed. Dante's able to get rid of OG there, and Yaki is groundborn for the time being. Can't even get the finish on Crimzo. Houston snatched things up, and that self-destruct from Piggy was absolutely massive.
And BQB takes out Happy there at the end. Yaki on the McCree here.
All right. Well, that was always going to happen. OG had to get overtime going. Gargoyle back on the D.Va here. With Slime getting picked off. It looks like the Outlaws might have snuck away with this one. They looked pretty shaky after the first half of the round. But again, they had more ultimates come into that last fight. The Bob really helps them set up that fight. Gargoyle D-mech and dealt with by Helix Rocket. BQB heroics. No, defense matrix kind of silence.
No,
unless
yeah, this is what I mean by no. I mean they have Yaki up on the high ground on the McCree, and he's been able to get behind them on the high ground, then drop down. And the Death Blossom was in such a position to do so much damage.
I mean, look at him. Yaki's still got a round to play. He's clapping his hands together with glee. Happy definitely pressured there. BQB needs to respect the range of Hanzo here. Happy wants to try and make use of the Ant Matrix, but no one's really giving him any sort of target. Good disengage from the Mayhem, despite not having any Lucio for speed, but Slime gets caught out there. Looks like OG was probably caught by a ult from Dreamer, if I'm not mistaken. They keep him in place. And the Mayhem, they had an Ant Matrix, but no one's really there to make use of it, Matt. Try and get an instant pick off here. Yaki's in trouble. Focusing Beam finds a target, Jake. As you see, he actually returns to join Dante, and it's a duplicated Sigma. He's already got 71% of his ult charge. This could be a pretty nasty ending to things here. He wants to stay alive. Gravitic Flux, very defensive, but Happy finds 3. That is huge. Looks like some of the setup that came from his Orisa, but really just great positioning on the Dragon Strike.
Look at much better now here for the Outlaws in the game. Overall, so Supercharger here trying to deter them from coming through the door, and I mean you see the extra damage boost from the Supercharger. You're able to deal with the Sigma and the Batiste. So Houston may just be able to roll this cart right in and take that second checkpoint.
I mean, Happy's really
decent damage. The Immortality Field saves at least Gangnam Jin there.
Yeah, it looks like the field just pretty untouched by that Dragon Strike. Still, Happy's going to cause some problems now for the Mayhem. Yaki needs to make the play, and it's going to be the Sigma. He's his weapon of choice. Gravitic Flux, though, could make his life a little bit hard. He's not actually caught inside of it, but too many of his teammates are. Happy again, steamrolling the Florida Mayhem down, and the Outlaws still have over 4 minutes, Matt.
This looks to be one of the better times we'll see. As Gargoyle gets so low, Yaki comes Dante up on the high ground as Sigma. This is brutal for the Florida Mayhem.
I mean, Gravitic Flux is just unbelievably strong, especially against these shield, these tank-heavy compositions. You get an extra barrier, an extra accretion, everything you could want. The Mayhem finally come up with the goods, though. It's a Dragon Strike, dueling dragons, in fact, but Happy's in trouble. See, BQB gets right up close in front of him. Slime's also there. So really, the Mayhem aren't punished for trying to make that play. Gravitic Flux, couple players caught in there, and Happy's going to follow up on that nice capitalization. Yaki tries to go for a reactive Deadeye, and they do get the Genji at the very least, but this Dragon Strike is going to force positioning now. Look where OG is, right back on that right-hand side. He actually able to get rid of Happy despite being forced out of where he needed to be to hold on the point. And Jake has Rally. Sorry, it's a Slime with Rally pushing up.
And they're able to actually, I was going to say they have Rally plus Supercharger, and you're able to hold on to Supercharger. That's
first, in which Shimada brother will prevail. Here it is, Dante trying to go in. Looks like he was whip shot pretty early on, and that's what happens to Genji right now. Immortality Field for Crimzo is down. Gangnam Jin's lost his as well, and Dante's blade doesn't do much except cause a bit of a stir. But Yaki's down. Good Gravitic Flux there, though, from Piggy. That was quite crucial. And now the Outlaws can roll straight forward in overtime. They have a chance to finish the map.
You will get a touch here for the Florida Mayhem.
OG, good adaptive shield as well. That'll keep him alive a little bit longer. Immortality Field got picked up very quickly by Piggy. Very astute from him to get rid of that so early. That means that OG just can't stall for nearly as long as he otherwise would have liked. Dreamer wrapping around the point. Bubble giving over to Yaki, who needs to stay alive, but there's just too much pressure here. Eventually, he's run down, and the Outlaws will get their prize. Hard fought, indeed. From him, he goes to half health, even though he had the nano on, and just takes the high ground. This lets the rest of the Mayhem get in, but will his prudence be paid off? It's BQB to die to Happy. Slime's able to bring him back into the fight at the very least, but this is kind of where the Outlaws are happy to fight. OG goes down, Happy's damage boosted, and Dreamer had a supercharger.
He went down instantly, and that was like a primal. Is not really a way. I mean, Florida, Yaki and the Slime in such a odd position. Is you're able to get one. They're trying to get a Gravitic Flux onto the supports in the back. Okay, so they do get Slime. They connect with him in midair. That'll stop any type of, scary secondary.
No. What?
Self-destruct.
The buy was huge!
Dragon. Yeah, I mean, that's a massive one. You may force them into the back here because OG's going to use the nano. Beautiful play here. That's all set up by that biotic grenade.
Yeah, they can't heal up the Outlaws in time. The Dreamer only had, 100 HP or so by the time OG goes jumping in. Gangnam Jin just puts the team on his back with that Ana play. That's what we're saying about Anas being playmakers. But Happy is 1-2, and OG's got, again, nowhere to go. Dante's going to pick him up with the sticky bombs now. That leaves the supports mid-fight for the Mayhem a little bit vulnerable. They have Gargoyle there with a self-destruct. He needs to be able to remech, though, and he can't. Dreamer picks him off as he gets out of the mech. Now the DPS really have to step up. Oh, wait, you can get a free tank. Yaki copies a Sigma, looks for Happy. Kinetic grasp here, but he's going to be pressured down. And the Mayhem, again, they just bite off a little bit more than they can chew there, and they're down to 10 seconds left.
Yeah, and I think the biggest difference has just been how good Dante has been. Primal Rage knocking OG back. It's 5 seconds to go. It's going to be Slime trying to go over the top, trying to get a touch taken out of the air by Crimzo. So you're on Yaki as well, so you don't have that anymore.
More time buys, Matt. Bob is now going to be used to push to the point, and OG's able to return, and then he gets rid of Crimzo really quickly. So that D.Va self-destruct to buy time for the re-emergence of the Winston was pretty big. Jake just glocked Gangnam Jin. He just gatted the man in the street. Huge pick-off. Slime has to resurrect the Yana here, and that's a window where there's not a lot of healing available for the Mayhem, but the Outlaws aren't able to capitalize, Matt.
No, because look at all the destruction that's happening back here with the Echo, the Winston, and the D.Va just dominating the choke, and it really just started out with a fast dive onto Crimzo.
He is huge. The damage boost there pays off from Jake. Dante going from strength to strength now, heads into the back line now with the damage boost. Jake's done a very good job of spreading his influence across both DPS here, and that pick really sets them up.
It's that pick is great, and then there's also a fantastic play by Crimzo. Is OG ends up getting nanoed and pops Primal and gets right in Happy's face, and he just turns around and hits a sleep dart straight away.
Yaki?
Florida doesn't want to give this up.
Yaki's alive! How'd he stay alive for so long? Oh, I can't believe it. They actually get rid of Dante there as well. OG takes his time getting back to the card. I thought Yaki was definitely dead there, but no one could get rid of Slime or Gangnam Jin.
The Primal just...
We digress, move on. Dante close to a nano boost. That's so big for Dreamer.
They just have to play so cautious, knowing that Happy can just come on the flank. But right here, they decide to just push straight on through it, ignore that Widowmaker. They're going to push the Outlaws back to the spawn. Still now dealing with Happy up on the high ground. Now Yaki goes and chases him down.
I mean, they get rid of him eventually. Happy definitely did a lot of work in that fight, but it was him not really having great sight lines to make his impact felt. That was crucial there.
Well, how nice.
Yeah, also, in Primal Rage, your jump is a shorter cooldown than Grappling Hook, so OG could have dealt with Happy there, and maybe he should have, because Happy just snaps one into Yaki. Good bubble timing for OG. That was close. He's able to keep himself alive, and Happy has an off angle. No one knows he's here, by the way. He'll announce his presence by the ringing out of those shots, and misses an opportunity to find big kills, but Dante's doing most of the work anyway. With Gargoyle out of position, Dante is unbothered.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, Dreamer pushing with the Primal Rage will take out two. This will be second checkpoint for the Houston out.
Pretty reasonable. That extra sort of anti-dive in the flash is probably going to help a bit. Dante duplicates D.Va, and Gangnam Jin was dead before Dante even got there. Nothing he could do about that. Dreamer taken down elsewhere by Yaki, so the Echoes are having a pretty big impact in this fight already, but that's the remake kill. Oh, Slime! I think he was going for the...
Was he going for a res and gets the remake killed there? I mean, that is that is actually a huge remake kill if that's a thing, but the Gargoyle using a self-destruct here as he gets, focusing beam.
He's in trouble. Defense Matrix is needed there by Gargoyle, and they get the nano boost just in time. Still, Slime goes down to the Deadeye there for Happy. He essentially gets that pretty safely. OG needs to do big things here, but he's only dealing with Piggy right now. He can't get to the back line. He can barely stall.
And they burn him down so fast that OG's not able to get the Primal Rage off.
Let's hear Houston now as they try and push the card over the line.
Nice. Good cap, good cap.
Okay, yo, there's like a difference of like calming and being able to go fast, but like
goes back, gets the benefits of that biotic grenade. Streamer working around the flank here. So,
Yaki?
Yaki was trying to put down some damage, but now they realize that everybody behind them has been taken out. So Dreamer actually through the side room ends up going towards BQB. I believe Gangnam Jin's back there, and then Happy gets one pick, and that's kind of the end of things. As a few members for the Florida Mayhem tried to push up.
Honesty here on this Widow. Another safe position behind the stalls, and it gets Dante. This guy is sharp as attack.
Well, I was going to say, the Infrasight buys them space to get through the choke. You can't just fight this if you're the Houston Outlaws with the walls. BGB is on fire, man. You can't just fight this when the...
I mean, again, BQB's in a nasty spot. He's right in the background here. No one can really get to him because there's so much standing in between him and the Outlaws. Grab here for Piggy. Now wants to deal with Gargoyle. Didn't get a lot of charge in that fight, which means OG can actually get away with a Primal here, but doused with the biotic grenade and lacking teammates. BQB is doing a great job, but there needs to be follow-up from the rest of the team.
I would love to see
BQB is infraside, so this is really awkward for the Outlaws now. Happy wants to be aggressive here while no one's really looking at him, but everyone knows where he's going to come from if he were to try to do that, and there it is, BQB gets him. So not only getting rid of Jake, but winning the Widow battle. It is BQB's world right now.
He has handily won the Widow battle. And really, Widow was the thing that got the Outlaws from A to B, and then they had to switch off of it for the end of the map. Widow, and your Widow's been winning that duel. You'll take it here in this type of scenario. And you lose Dante at the start, no res available, obviously, for the Houston Outlaws. You're going to lose a second player. Florida's just rolling, man.
These 200 HP targets have like half a second to respond to the fact that they're getting focusing beams. They are dead instantly. Again, it's so easy to get poke damage. You hit a couple sticky bombs on an enemy Echo, you just Poison Mine fired off, and Yaki's going to wrap around here. Is there a grab in the works? Yes, the answer is. Happy caught inside of it, and that's a problem now. The Outlaws get split up, and BQB finds Jake. Another one here. The headshots just keep rolling in for BQB. Self-destruct. Dante puts his bubble down just in time. The duplicate animation works in his favor, but he's going to be burnt down almost instantly. Jake can't really get away with the Lucio there. Buys a little bit of time, but it's not really going to be enough, and this is the Florida Mayhem. They fall under a minute there, crucially, but they're looking like they're on good time. Dreamer was back in play. Tries to dive to the high ground, but gets very little for his trouble. Keep an eye on BQB's positioning, because he is still going to be a threat in a later fight, but Happy uses a Deadeye just to get rid of an enemy Widowmaker. Matt, that seems kind of risky, but worthwhile here to relieve some pressure.
And the biggest thing that Happy actually pushes on forward, and he tries to break up that res, and he gets punished for it. The biggest thing is Piggy just been spinning around the card on the Wrecking Ball. That's what's kept the Outlaws in this.
Yeah, and it buys time. Now they're going to be ahead on time bank no matter what happens. Focusing beam on a Lucio is above half health, so the passive healing is going to be enough. Both of these teams go to the wire, but it's going to be the Outlaws with 14. Forward now, maybe even find a duplicate of his own, but he's more interested in trying to move the card. In his absence, the dive comes in from Dreamer, and BQB is plucked out of formation. That's a player advantage now to the Houston Outlaws, and they're going to make it even worse. OG goes down. Dreamer really starting to stretch his legs a little bit more, and the Mayhem come off second best in that fight. They get the later nano boost, but it doesn't look nearly as good in the hands of Yaki.
Oh, and you get a remake here for Gargoyle on the payload, as this is still contestable, as now it'll be Gargoyle taken out. So Florida gets the payload through the choke. They get it to about the statue, so
tower. So the Outlaws have put themselves in a position where they need to win the fight, but Yaki goes down. That defensive, the slower McCree approach works. They get rid of Yaki, but can they do more? Focusing beam there. Yeah, nicely done. Dante cleans off BQB really well. Dreamer, yeah, he does go down, but OG got a nano boost and wasn't able to find enough value for it. The Outlaws, they make the safe play, the patient play. It looks so good for them. And now they'll clean off the Mayhem, and they'll take Dorado here. No real chance for a stall. Great immortality field, perfect timing. Piggy's going to be back to health. Dreamer does get hit with a bite of grenade, and BQB goes down to Jake. He positions towards the back of the point, and the grenades roll in.
I was going to say, that had to be long range. Like, Jake was on the point, and BQB's out by the choke. I think he did have a mine up on the wall, like behind him. Maybe he just decided to blow it up and got the kill from it. Otherwise, just
not actually good. No, it was legitimately very, very good, and that's why it was such a famous idea. Jake is extremely good on the Junkrat and very good at punishing poor positioning. He has a Riptire on the way if he needs it, but he may not. OG's down, and Dante's brought back into the fight. Yaki has nowhere to go right now. No way.
Didn't see them.
Okay, gets it. Okay, there it is. Okay, wow, he gets two. That's huge. Look at the patience as well.
Why'd they shoot?
I think he saw them anyway. I don't know if that's going to be enough to save the fight either way. Dreamer coming to the point. He's going to use a hold on Slime. No follow-up there. The upside is Crimzo and 2 tanks are here. So the staying power is definitely there in spades for the Outlaws. And Dante has a duplicate. This is looking very good for Houston, Matt. Yaki disintegrates.
Both players for the Florida Mayhem, I think it was like BQB and Gangnam Jin, were sitting around the corner, and Jake only turns the tire, I think, when
tank first. It has to be resurrected. Self-destruct. Dreamer just throws the shield down. Sideshow's hairline keeps him alive once more. Slime's going to be removed by Crimzo. Dante with a free self-destruct, but Bob is in his way. Quite the bouncer, but Slime's gone down. Odie's in trouble. Focusing beam, not much good against that immortality field, but still, Gargoyle is desuited. This isn't over yet for the Outlaws. They still need to finish this off properly, but getting rid of OG gets them on the way. Looking for Gangnam Jim, and that'll do it. The Outlaws. What a hold. Jake on the Junkrat. What a throwback.
Though they're actually going to force them towards their Mega. Interesting.
All right, Jake gets the date with the Battle Cow. Maybe he's lactose intolerant. Either way, OG's going to get taken down, so it's a trade. One less DPS right now for the Houston Outlaws. But I mean, they're in a great spot here. This is what their composition wants to do. They've got the Moira up close, and yeah, they get rid of BQB. They're just going to keep running. Sticky bombs do connect for Yaki, and a good focusing beam here. Looks like when the fight gets down and dirty, the Mayhem are ready to tango, but that coalescence is not something you can just stand in. And it looks like Yaki found out the hard way.
Well, I was going to say, is there enough cleanup here to now...
Just that common way to keep himself calm now on that Reaper. BKB down. All right, so Dante has fallen, but really you have a Reaper on the point. The Outlaws might have had a trade of players, but they have a huge advantage in terms of what their comp wants to do. And, well, see you later, Gargoyle.
Wow.
You are not allowed to participate in this fight or the rest of this series. And the Houston Outlaws, they bring the magic back. Sometimes it's more than just fan service or nostalgia. Sometimes it's just a good play.
No, I mean, Jake was a huge impact player in this series, whether it was on the...